Sometimes being ghosted is clarity, it's not rejection. Okay. We don't often talk about being ghosted by a friend and what is actually happening under that, the emotional damage, right? And there's two sides of it. Sometimes people say, well, yeah, this friend just ghosted me out of nowhere and I don't know what happened. And if you look a little bit deeper, they probably know exactly what happened. And then other times, a person recognizes, hey, things got different. And I reached out to this person and it's been radio silence. And this is why I emphasize so much the importance of character and being intentional, because anybody can listen to what I say, okay? And they will try to justify themselves. But the beautiful thing about who we are as people is we cannot escape ourselves. So whatever habits we have, they will show up. All right? And when it comes to ghosting and friendship, sometimes it is worse than dating, because what do you mean we've been friends for all these years and now just one day we stop talking? And society allows that to be a truth, right? Oh yeah, friends just grow apart. And we're in different seasons. And a lot of times the people who are saying that and emphasizing that are avoiding somebody they owe clarity to. But they can't sit in the discomfort of having an adult conversation. And this reminds us that just because we are getting older does not mean we are maturing. A lot of these people who are out here using the enlightenment jargon are avoiding other people. Yeah, life got busy, so we just stopped talking. But if that person actually mattered, you'd be a little bit more curious. What we need to realize is that it should be very hard. It should be very hard emotionally, mentally. It should be very difficult to discard somebody you claim you care about. And if they're your friend, it should be tough, okay? And I'm not saying that you have to continue to be in a relationship with this person, especially if they've treated you poorly. But even then, if you're being treated poorly by someone that you genuinely care about, it will feel horrible. So a lot of times people are walking around making it seem like, oh, I don't know what happened. And you know exactly what happened. You didn't participate. You didn't show up. You probably weren't honest. And to ghost a person leaves them wondering, hey, what did I do? What went wrong? And we're all responsible for it in some way, shape, or form. But what's the middle ground, right? If you know that you have communicated clearly and effectively, and again, people can say that they do this, but the truth will show up in their patterns, okay? If you know that you have intentionally communicated a transgression, you have tried to continue to make effort, and this person has not shown up, then taking a step away is not you ghosting them. Taking a step away is no longer explaining yourself or being met with somebody who says, yeah, communicate with me. But in actuality, they're not looking to hold themselves accountable. They just want you to talk and do more work in the relationship. Sometimes when we are ghosted by people, it's like an emotional wound, right? It feels like physical pain because it's like, holy crap, did I just get abandoned? What happened? Is whiplash, is shell shock a little bit. I have no idea what happened. If you genuinely don't know what happened, yeah, it hurts. It's a sense of rejection. But something I want you to understand, people who genuinely ghost other people without respect or care for that other individual, and they are being reckless, whereas like, I don't have to talk to you or I don't have to give you an explanation at all, right? Usually that's not a sign of the other person, that's a sign of that individual and how they handle conflict. Some people will readily avoid conflict altogether versus just addressing and be like, hey, this is actually hard for me. This is actually uncomfortable for me to say, but we need to talk about it. Okay, I need to address this. Or, hey, I don't feel like I'm safe in this connection, so I'm gonna take a step away. Or, hey, I don't feel like you actually rock with me for real. I don't feel safe. I don't feel like this is a genuine friendship, so I'm gonna take a step back. But sometimes we also need to realize, once again, we mislabel. Not everybody is a friend just because we are engaging with them. Sometimes we don't understand what friendship actually takes by definition. And we demand that somebody be more of a friend than what they actually are. And then when they do certain things, it's like, damn, like, I thought we were friends. You thought that you were friends. you know? And it's not to say that some people don't benefit from somebody else's willingness to step into the relationship. And as soon as things change for them or they find other people to hang out with, that whole dynamic changes. There's no such thing as a bad friend. There are people who are bad at pretending, but a bad friend does not exist. Okay? So when it comes to ghosting and you feel these feelings, man, what happened? Process and ask yourself honestly, what was taking place? What happened? Are there any patterns that I notice if you're the ghoster? Okay, why did I think that that was okay? Do I like being ignored and rejected? Do I like being left in ambiguity and having to figure out what happened? No, no one likes to be ignored. No one likes to be ignored. I promise you, no one likes to be ignored. A lot of times ghosting is us protecting our ego versus actually taking care of the relationship that we say we care about. It allows us the easy route versus forcing somebody else to deal with whatever clues they have and pick up the pieces. But a lot of times when we are ghosting people in a very careless, selfish way, it says so much about us than the other person. And we could go around telling other people, yeah, well, this person was demanding too much, or I couldn't give them what they needed. Kind of making it seem like the other person had these crazy demands. But yeah, sometimes what that person needed was clarity because they recognize your behavioral patterns. That person was looking for effort because they realized they were carrying the dynamic. A lot of times ghosting is not coming from a person who has communicated clearly or established a boundary. It's actually the person who is dodging accountability, dodging communication and community, actually, and dodging responsibility. But, like they say, when someone ghosts, don't disturb the dead. Okay? Be honest about what kind of friend you are. Be brutally honest about how you show up. And let that be the truth that you hold on to versus trying to figure out why somebody did what they did. Because truth be told, if that's how a person moves, they move everywhere like that. You just happen to be a casualty along their way. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.